Namo.
Namo. Gurudev Namo. Breathe.
Such, be such, Monica would be such.
Good. Okay. So shall we begin?
Yes. I'm doing screen sharing, start broadcast, and then I'm going to bring up our message. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here. Pages. Okay. This is our message from Siri Gian. Oh, gosh. Sorry, guys. This is from my phone for other tech reasons. So it's irregular, and we're doing our best. So first we'll tune in our message. Dear light workers,
Oh, no,
today,
wait a minute. What about those keyboard?
there. Oh, thank goodness. Thank
Okay.
you.
Good.
I didn't want it there either. Okay. Dear light workers, today you are learning bifurcation. Yikes. Although I cannot truly understand that bifurcation is from our amazing universe, is from the actual transformations with our Aquarian age that is now changing the Aquarian shift with the fifth dimension. From this video is the best way I have seen. Just see this and then feel about your own truth and deep awareness. That truth is from your own deep meditation. But instead, your own God truth is not from your thinking, that we called as everyday self, EDS. For instance, what anyone else believes, though what you have believed before, or even from what you have thought as reality, etc. Only know from your consciousness and your deep body knowing. What is happening now through our universe is amazingly transforming this true evolution with the Aquarian age. So, using this time that changes from our fourth dimension, old time, to transform humans with the fifth dimensions, as we have seen last week, as we have understood that the ETs have taken the opportunity with the fifth dimension to finally change those really ancient human DNA strains, epigenetics, and karmas, to clean out all of those dark energies, truly dark energies within humanity, to change us. We only have free will, and we also have pure heart light energies for healing from ETs. No, with CNR, consciousness, no reality. But here is bifurcation. ETs only help humans' free will to decide. If humans can help ETs for us to change, heal, or realize our difficult lessons from our dark energies. That is from our lifetimes, our karmas, from us and from our earth karmas and our ancestors' strain of karmas. At this particular time, we can clean out those dark energies to become pure, clear light energies. That is with either consciously or unconsciously. And we are also need to be heart love and or be compassionate. Haven't Jesus and our great true masters taught us the same? Although they might not have talked about ETs, but they have known those masters are God from pure ETs, pure love energies. So here is
Wait a minute.
ET's dilemma.
Wait a minute.
Yes? Oh, God is love.
That's right. That's important.
Thank
Okay.
you. God is love. Love is God. So here is ET's dilemma. Here is the most amazing shift or the Aquarian time from our totally changing Earth, also using both from the dark as well as the light energies. That is using ETs to allow some humans to give a new start, to let go from your own ancient and karma, dark to light energies. That is finally begin to split from pure humans' light energies with peace, calm, kindness, and more. And during with that light energies, consciousness will use pure light creating energies. Hold on one second. I have to let somebody in. Okay. Okay. How do I get back there? Calm, kindness, and more. And during with that light energies, consciousness will use pure light creating energies. On the other side of some humans will still want to continue the dark energies. That is not sin, but simply folks just need to realize their most difficult lessons to understand their transform new awareness. That means old thoughts, ways of living, stuckness against any loving creatures, humans, animals, earth, etc. Without dark stuck energies cannot flow from those pure clean energies. So then they would continue to study those old hurts as either victims or victimizers. Those who still don't have their final tests lessons will have their terrible dramas. Oh, so see what happens for that bifurcation. And now is the actual time to see this video. Dolores Cannon's final timeline. We're gonna do that video and then we'll do
What's it
1 minute of
called?
heart pumping.
Wait a minute.
It's Dolores Cannon's final timeline, the 5-year code to unlock the earth.
25 to 2030.
25 to 2030.
Okay.
And can you put what we just read on our other, on our,
I'm seriously pondering how to do that. Like, I think you guys might have to watch me do it. No, you know what? I'll pause screen sharing and I can text it out to everybody and then I'll set up starting the video. And can we do heart breath for like a minute while I do tech?
Sure.
Is that okay? Yeah,
Yes.
do we want to read this part first before I close the screen?
Yeah, begin meditation. Talk.
Or maybe somebody,
meditate.
okay. So meditation, the meditation will be 1 minute of heart pumping, 5 minutes of consciousness, no reality, which is strong heart bath, belly breath, nose inhalation for 6 seconds, nose exhalation for 6 seconds from out of your heart center. Slide from fear, let go from any of your nasty, difficult old stuff. No reality, no thinking, no everyday self, but only feel, just be. And then we'll spend 2 minutes to become awareness and understand what happened from our everyday self using our notes. Listen and share. Lots of love, Siri Gian.
That's it. Okay, so
All right.
begin. Whatever you need to do.
Thank you.
Okay. Heart breath. Oh, Sun City? Sun City?
Satnam,
Just mute yourself for right now.
mute myself?
Yeah, mute it.
Okay, I thought I was.
Thank you. Just keep up heart breath.
Okay, so I think we're ready to do the video. And if you're on a phone, tilt your phone to the side once we get it going, because I think that's what's going to make it bigger. And speak up if there's a problem, okay?
Okay.
I'm screen sharing. Here we are at the video, you guys.
You feel it, don't you? That subtle, persistent hum of acceleration beneath the surface of everything. The feeling that the script of a graduation, a plan so fundamental that it doesn't just change the world, it changes the very rules of existence. And for decades, through thousands of hypnotic regressions, she was a series of chaotic events, but as a meticulously orchestrated sequence, a timeline, a 5-year window, a final act, and that window is opening now. This is massively watched. This is not another YouTube video to be consumed and forgotten. This is an activation key, a dossier containing the code to the next 5 years of your life. The code to navigate the storm, to understand the chaos, and to consciously choose your destination. Because where humanity is going, not everyone will arrive at the same place. Before we open this dossier, we must address the fundamental question, the one Dolores herself would have asked. When you look towards the next 5 years, what do you truly see? When you look towards the horizon of 2030, do you see a promise or a threat? Is your subconscious painting a picture of technological dystopia, environmental collapse, and social decay? Or do you feel, deep in your bones, a spark of unimaginable potential, a new Earth waiting to be born? Be honest with yourself. Your answer is the compass point from which your journey begins. What is your 5-year plan? And does it account for a planetary shift in consciousness? Are you planning for a promotion at a job that might not exist in 36 months? Are you investing in a system that is showing cracks in its very foundation? Or have you started to factor in a different kind of currency? The currency of vibration, of awareness, of spiritual resilience. Are you waiting for the world to change? Or are you beginning to understand that the world is waiting for you? This is the core of Dolores' message. The shift isn't something that happens to us. It is something that flows through us. Every thought, every choice, every reaction is a vote for which version of Earth you wish to experience. The timeline isn't a fixed path. It is a river, and that river is about to split into two. This dossier is your map and your paddle. Let's begin. The first phase of this 5-year window, spanning roughly from the beginning of 2025 to the end of 2026, is what Dolores' subjects consistently referred to as a period of intensification and sorting. Imagine the Earth as a giant instrument that has been playing one single dense note for thousands of years. Now, imagine someone is slowly, deliberately turning a cosmic tuning knob. The frequency is rising. When you raise the frequency of an object, two things happen. First, anything that is not in harmonic resonance with that new frequency begins to shake violently. It feels unstable. It feels like it's falling apart. Second, particles that are in resonance with the new frequency begin to hum. They find each other. They clump together. They amplify one another. This is the master metaphor for the next 2 years. It's not a political or social collapse. It is a vibrational audit. Everything, systems, beliefs, relationships, and even your own secret thoughts, will be subjected to this rising frequency. Anything built on a foundation of fear, control, and separation will begin to shake. Anything built on love, truth, and connection will begin to sing. The first and most visible manifestation of this will be what we can call the institutional shakeout. Dolores often spoke of the props on the stage of life, the systems we take for granted, financial institutions, legacy media, political structures, even mainstream science and medicine. These are constructs of the old, dense frequency. In 2025 and 2026, you will witness this hollowness become undeniable. This won't necessarily be a single dramatic collapse. It will be more like a death by 1,000 cuts, a series of glitches in the matrix that expose the fragility of these systems. Expect to see economic volatility. Not just recessions, but strange, illogical market behaviors that defy old models. The rise of decentralized systems won't be a niche trend anymore. It will become a conversation of necessity. Information schisms. The concept of mainstream news will become almost meaningless. Reality will splinter into dozens of narratives, each with its own fiercely loyal following. The challenge won't be finding information, but navigating an ocean of it without losing your own energetic center. Political theater. Political events will become increasingly absurd, like a play where the actors have forgotten their lines but must keep the show going. The focus will shift from policy to personality, from substance to spectacle. exposing the lack of real power behind the curtains. The key here is not to get caught in the drama. Dolores' guidance was clear. Be an observer. See these events not as tragedies, but as the necessary demolition of an old set before a new one can be built. They are symptoms of the frequency change, not the cause of your suffering. Your suffering only comes if you cling to the crumbling walls. But this shakeout isn't just happening out there. The most crucial part of this phase happens in here. The rising frequency acts as a giant cosmic mirror. Everything we have suppressed, every unhealed trauma, every limiting belief we carry will be amplified and reflected back at us with relentless intensity. This is why, during 2025 and 2026, you may feel like you are going crazy. Emotional swings. You might experience sudden waves of sadness, anger, or anxiety that seem to come from nowhere. This is not yours alone. You are processing not only your own stuff, but also the collective static. Relationship sorting. Relationships, friendships, family, romantic partners that are not based on vibrational alignment will become increasingly difficult, even painful. Conversations will feel strained. You'll feel like you're speaking different languages. This is not a failure. It is a natural sorting. The people meant for your next chapter will begin to find you, often in the most unexpected ways. Physical symptoms. The famous ascension symptoms will intensify for many. Unexplained fatigue, ringing in the ears, strange sleep patterns, a buzzing sensation in the body. This is the physical body struggling to recalibrate its own frequency to match the planet's. It's like upgrading your computer's operating system. There's always a period of adjustment and debugging. The code for this phase is radical self-responsibility. Stop blaming the outside world for your inner state. When a painful emotion arises, don't push it away. Ask it, what are you here to show me? What lie am I believing that is causing this pain? Every trigger is a doorway. Every challenge is a curriculum. The universe isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. It is giving you every possible opportunity to lighten your load before the river splits for good. This is the task of 2025 and 2026. To unpack your bags, to observe the demolition of the old world without fear, and to choose moment by moment which frequency you will anchor within yourself. Because that choice will determine which path you see when the bridge appears. If the first phase was about shaking the foundations, the second phase, covering 2027 and 2028, is about the definitive splitting of worlds. This is the concept Dolores Cannon is perhaps most famous for, the New Earth. But she was adamant about one crucial detail that is often misunderstood. The New Earth is not a place you go to. It is not a distant planet or a future paradise you wait for. It is a frequency you tune into. Imagine two realities coexisting in the same space, right here, right now, separated only by vibration. The old Earth continues on its timeline of control, fear, and disintegration. The new Earth begins to solidify its timeline of freedom, creativity, and connection. During 2027 and 2028, the vibrational gap between these two realities will become so wide that they will effectively become non-interactive. They will cease to perceive one another. This is the bifurcation. The primary characteristic of this phase is a phenomenon we will call perceptual decoupling. This is perhaps the most surreal aspect of the entire shift. Dolores' subjects described it as people on the two different timelines beginning to fade from each other's reality. It's not that they vanish in a puff of smoke. It's more subtle. They simply cease to be relevant to each other's experience. How will this manifest in your life? The dissolving of conflict. You may find that people or situations that used to trigger you immensely simply don't anymore. It's as if you can see the drama playing out on a distant stage, but you no longer feel the compulsion to jump on stage and join the play. You will find yourself disengaging, not from a place of apathy, but from a place of profound peace. Synchronistic encounters. Conversely, you will start bumping into people who are on your wavelength with astounding frequency. The right teacher, the perfect business partner, a new soul family. These won't feel like coincidences. They will feel like appointments you set for yourself before you were even born. These are the other citizens of the New Earth frequency, and you are beginning to find each other. The two news feeds effect. You and a friend could look at the exact same world events and describe two completely different realities. One sees only collapse, corruption, and despair. The other sees the collapse as a necessary clearing and focuses on the incredible solutions, communities, and innovations that are rising from the ashes. Both are real within their own vibrational bubble. The code for this phase is the conscious observer. Your primary task is to hold your frequency. When the chaos of the old Earth timeline appears on your screen, you observe it. You might send it compassion, but you do not feed it your energy. You do not engage in its arguments. You do not participate in its fear. You are a lighthouse keeper. Your job is not to sail into the storm to rescue every ship. Your job is to be the light, unwavering, so that those who are looking for the shore can find their way. As the old systems continue their noisy demolition, something beautiful and quiet begins to take form during this phase. The emergence of coherent islands or pockets of the new Earth. These are not physical locations initially. They are energetic and social structures built on the principles of the new frequency. During 2027 and 2028, your focus should shift from trying to fix the old world to actively building or participating in these new world structures. New economies. Expect the flourishing of local, community-based economies. Bartering systems, skill-sharing platforms, and community currencies that operate outside the volatile global financial system. New communities. People will begin to form intentional communities, both online and in person, based on shared values and purpose rather than geography or bloodlines. This is the soul family coming into physical form, creating supportive environments where the new Earth frequency can be anchored and amplified. New knowledge. Information on suppressed technologies, particularly in the realms of energy, health, and consciousness, will begin to surface and be put into practice within these communities. The era of relying on centralized authorities for truth will end. The era of empowered, direct experience begins. Your mission in this phase is to find your network, to find the other nodes in the mycelium. Ask yourself, where can I contribute my energy? Who is building the world I want to live in? This is not about survival. This is about consciously, joyfully beginning to build paradise, right in the middle of the old world storm. We now arrive at the culmination of the 5-year window. If Phase 1 was the demolition, and Phase 2 was the construction of the scaffolding, Phase 3, spanning 2029 and 2030, is about moving into the new house. This is the period Dolores' work points to as the solidification. The new Earth frequency is no longer an abstract concept or a fleeting feeling. For those who have done the work, who have navigated the bifurcation, it becomes their dominant, physical reality. The veil between what is imagined and what is manifested becomes incredibly thin. The defining law of this final phase is conscious creatorship. The training wheels are off. In the old frequency, there was a significant time lag between thought and manifestation. You could hold a negative belief for years before its effects became physically apparent. This lag served as a buffer, a safety net for a species learning how to use its creative power. By 2029, for those on the New Earth timeline, this buffer is effectively gone. This means your inner state is no longer a private affair. It is the literal command interface for your reality. Instant manifestation. You will think of a solution to a problem, and the right person will call you within minutes. You will feel a need for a resource, and it will appear in your life in a synchronistic, almost magical way. This becomes the new normal. The end of work. The old paradigm of trading time for money in a job you don't love will become completely unworkable on the New Earth frequency. Your work will become synonymous with your joy and your purpose. You will be sustained by following your highest excitement, because that is the state in which you are most aligned with the creative force of the universe. Telepathic and empathic abilities. Communication will evolve beyond the limitations of spoken language. You will begin to know things without being told. You will feel the emotional state of those around you as clearly as if it were your own. This will necessitate a new level of honesty and integrity in all interactions. The code for this phase is impeccable mind mastery. This is the final graduation exam. Every moment is an opportunity to choose your thoughts and feelings with the same care you would choose the tools to build your home. Fear is a rusty hammer. Love is a master craftsman's chisel. Which will you use to sculpt your world? A question naturally arises. What happens to the old Earth? What about the people who did not choose the higher frequency? Dolores' work offers a compassionate, non-judgmental perspective. It is not an apocalypse. It is not a punishment. It is simply a fading. By 2030, the perceptual decoupling is largely complete. You will stop seeing the chaos on your newsfeed because you are no longer a vibrational match to it. The institutions of the old world may still exist on their timeline, but they will hold no power or relevance in yours. You will have literally built a new world in the shell of the old, and the old shell will simply dissolve from your awareness. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the mission for what Dolores called the first wave volunteers. Those souls who came to Earth at this time specifically to be the frequency anchors and the system builders. Their job is not to fight the old, but to dream the new into being with such focus and love that it becomes the dominant reality. By the end of 2030, their primary mission will be complete. The new Earth will be a self-sustaining, anchored reality. The dawn has broken. So, we have traversed the map, 2025 to 2030, the shakeout, the bifurcation, the synthesis. It is a fascinating story, a compelling prophecy. But if that is all you see it as, then its true purpose has been missed. This timeline is not a weather forecast for you to passively watch through the window. It is not a movie where you are merely a member of the audience. This is your commissioning, your activation notice. The greatest revelation from Dolores Cannon's entire body of work is this. The future is not a fixed point we are traveling towards. It is an infinite ocean of probabilities that we crystallize into reality with the magnetic power of our focus and our frequency. So the question was never, what will happen in the next 5 years? The real question, the only question that has ever mattered is, which future are you currently creating with the power of your attention? This timeline is not a prediction. It is a choice, presented to you as a story. Every event we have discussed is not a destination. It is a cosmic litmus test. A question from the universe, asking you in every moment, are you choosing fear, or are you choosing love? Are you voting for the old earth, or are you voting for the new? The timeline is not something that happens to you. It is something that flows through you. You are the architect. You are the gatekeeper. You are the one you have been waiting for. Choosing your frequency is not just about survival. It is about creation. So how do you begin? How do you cast your vote right now? Don't try to change the world. That is the old way. Instead, for the next 30 days, I invite you to implement a simple, powerful protocol. Let's call it the Timeline Choice Protocol. Every morning, before you touch your phone, before you let the world's noise in, close your eyes and ask yourself one question. Today, will my thoughts, my words, and my actions be a vote for the world that is dying, or a vote for the world that is being born? That's it. That one question. Let the answer guide your day. This is how we build the new earth. Not with grand gestures, but with small, conscious choices, repeated millions of times over, by millions of architects of the timeline, just like you. Now let's anchor this new reality together. In the comments below, share one small decision you will make today as a vote for the new earth. It could be choosing a hopeful thought, supporting a local creator, or simply spending 5 minutes in nature. Begin your comment with the hashtag #TimelineChoice. Let's turn this comment section into the first blueprint of the new earth. Let's show the algorithm and the world what future we are choosing to create. We are not just observers, we are the architects. Welcome to the project.
Good. Okay. So now, so breathe a little bit. Let yourself settle. Settle yourself. And now we have 1 minute heart jumping and begin. And now we have 5 minutes for consciousness, no reality. And this is from Baba Siddhi-chan. And continue. And inhale. Inhale. And breathe. And 2 minutes for your awareness, and listen for your notes. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And breathe. Okay. Aagia Pal, is this okay? Is this good?
Yeah, this is terrific. It's so dense, all of this is just so my experience was this. I asked Baba, and I also called in I've been doing this lately, Pleiadians, and to see if they have wisdom to share, and also if Baba does as well. And they were jumping around. I could sense they were jumping around and celebrating this the 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 fact that this is a free will planet, but and that we are mostly moving towards choosing the new Earth. So there's been a tipping point in many of us, and towards choosing the new Earth. And the Pleiadians kind of indicated that the old ways, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. We've spent a lot of time jockeying for position, they said. It's like you want to get out. It's like in a horse race, you want to get out in front, but you don't want to get right in the front. You want to draft on something else, and it's just like, this is the life of jockeying for position. And so no more. Now is break from the pack, and that kind of pack. But there's a longing for community that I can say I've had that for quite a while. And it's, kind of it's a sad, not despair or sadness, but there's a definite longing for community, for people that are wanting to herald the new earth. And that longing, they said, is, being realized now in some of the things that I'm doing presently. And they were very, very strong in saying, rather than looking into the future, stay in the present and do what you can in the present. And then I saw a picture of the monks walking. So it was, and that brought me a lot of peace. And they, walking the talk, so to speak. They're just simply, and that's another, I think, operational word for me is simple. Keep it simple. And that's usually a very powerful trajectory. So walking, putting myself, how do they say that? Putting myself where my beliefs are, putting myself there, like standing up for what I believe more than ever. And that also, a lot of this I'm being drawn to outside, outdoors. The structure of the home is wonderful, but being pulled outside. And it's funny because right before this, I looked out the window and there was Snow Dancer out nosing around and having some apples that I left for her yesterday. And so I went outside.
Oh, wait a minute. Tell people what snow.
Snow Dancer is a deer, a doe that has, in a sense, adopted some of us on the street. And so she was outside, and she's looking at the door. She's no dummy, but she won't come up to the door, thankfully, because the dogs are here. And so anyway, I went out and I brought her a apple, and it brought me so much joy to have her, reach out her neck and take the apple from my hand. And, it's almost like a telepathic thing that, I was so happy to see her. She was happy to see me. And then the other day, another telepathic experience was as I went by a home, there was a coyote that was running around in the driveway, and it didn't look very healthy. It was, its fur was, well, I can't judge because I don't see many coyotes, but it just didn't seem. And what came out from my heart was, may you be, a lot of metta, may you be given food, may you find peace, may you find heat, may you find your tribe, may and so on. And so I guess just to finish up, that's a lot of what's been going on for me, is while in nature, just feeling closer, more akin to the elementals, and just to all the sentient beings that are out there. That, and I'm wondering if this bifurcation is making more evident to me all of these beautiful sentient beings that have always been here, but I have not recognized them. And so this new Earth that's being birthed, or I should say our new Earth that's being birthed, it feels very quiet to me. And it feels very, well, loving, obviously, and kind, and all of those things. And I have chosen, this is what, I want to be part of this, the birthing of this new Earth. And consciously, I think unconsciously I have been, because I've been feeling physically a lot of these ascension symptoms, a lot of anxiety, a lot of very uncomfortable stuff that's been being released from me, hopefully. And it just comes, there's more and more and more coming. So I'm just allowing that now to happen. So I thanked Baba, and I just asked for support and strength and guidance from and more ability to love from the Pleiadians, and from Baba, and from Soul, as this is all soul based or love based. And yeah, and that's so. However, I can be a master craftsman, as was talked about. I wish to do that, because I don't think there's anything else for me to do. That's the most important reason I'm here. So anyway, I thanked the Pleiadians. I thanked everyone, and all, and Baba, and Dolores Cannon, and a lot of what she said. I think Pam Gregory also reiterated in her solstice, February 17th solstice video. So I guess everybody saying the same thing, in our own language, and using our own vibrational words, which is very cool. So everything is a coherence here, but among all of us who are on the same frequency. So anyway, I'll share the time. Thank you very much for listening.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay. Gian Das Prem.
Satnam. Yes. Been doing a lot of listening the last week. And it's beautiful to hear what we've listened to, and also to what other people are saying, that it's coming together with our being, with this consciousness, with this vibration, right? That we're changing to this, we're sort of moving away from the opinion, and we're coming from love. And, it takes a lot of listening sometimes to notice, to go into the deep listening when we sit with ourselves, and we notice our breath, and we try to become comfortable within this vessel. And there is a lot going on, right? But at the same time, we can notice the simplicity with which we're learning, and the progressions of the stages of life and the afterlife, that we can say thank you. And from all sides of being, from there through, with the understanding of that, of coming from love, of, being in that frequency. And it just seems to be, that it makes sense that the light and the water are working together to create, frequencies that we are putting into our body, right? And it's part of the medicine of what we're working with within the frequencies. also while noticing the wide, varied range of aspects of frequencies and range dynamics of, our abilities. So seeing beyond that, we're walking in the light, so therefore we're a creation of the light, and somewhat of a thing. But for me it was, it's celebrating that, that the everything is yours type of thing, that here we have it and we're allowed to, process and reprocess and seed and reseed, and which is beyond what we're doing in a sense, right? If the wind is picking up and the clouds are picking up and the birds are picking up and they're creating all of this life around us. And here we are as this human, we're learning about all of these crystals and all of these metal objects and what we're using here within this thing. And we're also learning at the same time that we are all of this creation. We are part of all of this that is moving here, beyond, from before and now. And it's funny because I always loved Dolores because she just seems like someone familiar, right? And within her voice. So, you know, when we move beyond and when we don't come back, we have a sense of knowing as well, right? Even if we were whatever stage we are in that progression as well, right? Is being able to come back in or to be noticed. So that light that's being noticed for our being is free to give, receive, to show. And what Dolores showed me today, and I think it's so beautiful because, there's so much going on with the light, with the dancing, with the waves, with the coming and the going. And she's just saying to me, hey guys, just look at it like a switch. When you go into the room and you switch the light on, and it's so amazing how it can come on. Well, we have the ability to see the light, right? So we can notice the frequencies that we're doing while we're handling this, that we are somewhat working together, right? For that, it takes a village type of thing, to come together, and then the sacred geometry can come in for, the designs and coming to all of these the teachings like that this earth has seen, because it's seen so many societies come and go, right? That we've had all of these teachings, and now these teachings are just coming forward in a way and that we're able to just have in our minds, right? And with our own creations, and blessing of the light, through the water, through the clearing of the water, through the cleaning of the water, coming into our third eye opening, for that switch to stay on, so that when we're glowing bright, we can unite. And we're inviting a little bit there too, but there's a thanks that goes beyond that sort of. And yeah, and there's a song that Sonatum sings, it's called Walking in the Light, right? And I see myself when I'm walking into the light as sort of, approaching this change, call it going through like the metal detector at the airport, or maybe the scanning machine if you had an MRI or something like that, but you're just doing it yourself with this body of light approaching that other body of light. It can be a practice while just standing anywhere, and through our breath of celebrating that, that giving and letting go of, that constant, everything in a sense is ours that we're creating here. So creating our own media, right, for that view of that new world, as we have, this may be the best thing AI is providing for us, is to say, show me a orb with, blue and yellow and green with sparkles going on inside of it, and people dancing outside of it that look like wavy clouds of light, right? And we can go to that and see the letting go of that, and then we can maybe read a poem to something that we enjoy or create our own, right? um, and the DNA upgrades are happening within that code of our own, being, the consciousness of the light, which then will allow us to say less and just kind of go into that, Waheguru moment, and it gives us a chance to step back to see all of the movement that's going on here. It's just so beautiful when we get, through all of that, that it is a way, you know, of mending, like we're bending, we're mending, we're sending, you know, we're not, and taking the, the before words out of it. There's no condescending while we're sending. If we're just so, and we have stages that we'll go through to develop that way of clearing, right? Within us is a feeling within the body that could be something from, our past, that we're going to push that through. If we can do it, sometimes it can happen within minutes or within seconds. And that's part of our being in this vessel, right? That it's like that hydraulic effect. And the visual that I'm getting right now is like being put inside of a bubble, whether it's made out of metal or, it has some glass to look out of, airtight bubble, being taken down like 500 or 600 feet down into the ocean, and just letting that gravity just take us. And we'll have a proper device, but this will be it's not that hard to do. I see it just here now. So, and just to fly out of the water like that, and then just maybe have a parachute or something that you can float along with. So it's part of that hydraulics, coming back to that. Yeah. And then we're polishing, right? And we're creating that vibration. So it's sometimes the shaking within us, it can be from our practice, from what we're doing, from our learning. So we're being given this design for a new type of schooling, with all of this language, with all of this caring, with this esoteric, shifting back to the motherly way of, acceptance, and the sharing of the home body thing, where we're the father or the eldest son is going back to take care of the parents or what have you, for that village to uprise again within the language of, the baby. When the baby comes out, right, it hears all these sounds. It can hear enough that it could learn any language. And this is from the studies that we're doing through the science. Yeah, that we have known through other societies amongst the earth, that there have been certain, tones and practices that we use to move through certain energies as well. And now with the science of the crystals and the communication through all that, we're coming back to Egypt and to these other places where we are seeing the use of, of course, the water and the life and the communication of coming together for somewhat of a new change, right? So this is the new school. So we're bringing all of these in. We're sort of sponging it out and seeing how the water looks, and, deciding what to do with that after turning the ground and whatnot. Waheguru, thank you so much. There is just, so much within here of all of this way of advancing in our ways of handling the information to come out with that, that's CJS, Christ Jesus consciousness, CJC, to come out with that. Yeah, that consciousness of, being in our reality. There's something that, and that it has to do with the diatonic scale, the astral level, fourth, dimension, anti-dimension, and all of these other things. But basically, the consciousness is to awaken our thinking, our feeling, and our actions in a complementary way and without conflicts with other persons. A transformed third consciousness, Christ consciousness, or galactic consciousness, is to be in truth, respect, common sense, and order. These bring peace in planet Earth. Waheguru.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. Salt City. Salt City. Unmute. Salt City, are you there? Okay. So, Harimandir. Harimandir, are you there?
Kinda.
Okay. It was a lot of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot. And
Right.
it's nice to hear that everything will be taken care of in the next 5 years.
Well, it's bifurcation.
Hmm.
You know about, oh, that is Salt City. Okay.
Let her go ahead.
What?
Let Siri go ahead.
No, she went away.
Oh, well, darn.
Exactly.
Um, what's interesting to me is one thing that's interesting is I started on this path with TM, Transcendental Meditation, back in the 70s.
Right.
And interestingly enough, that mantra is the one that keeps coming back. It's I am, I am, I am.
Hmm.
And it's like I am, but in a softer way. And when I first did it, when I lived in Hawaii, when Jim was in Vietnam, I was doing my 20 minutes of just thinking the mantra. And all of a sudden, after a week or so, maybe not even that long, my shoulders dropped like 6 inches.
Wow.
And I had no idea that they were up. Um, and later in Kundalini Yoga, I found that because TM was secret, you couldn't share your mantra, you couldn't tell anybody. But here was the same mantra, more or less, with a mudra and a breath pattern and the whole bit. So it certainly wasn't secret anymore. So I think of some of these things that we were given years ago,
Mhm.
like full dimensional timber.
Oh, say that again.
Full dimensional timber. When you
I'm
build a house,
Say
and
it again. I'm sorry. Do
yeah,
that slower because I want that.
full dimensional timber, the kind that you build houses, you used to build houses with.
Okay.
That
Whole dimension. What?
it's full, FULL, dimensional, full dimension timber, TIMBER,
Ah, got it.
or
Thank
lumber, but it's really timber.
you.
Um, and as I'm working here in Juneau to possibly preserve the 100-year-old homes that are in this very park-like place downtown, I'm going back to the old ways that have stood for generations. So full dimensional timber or full dimensional lumber. I mean, it wasn't, it was like a 2x4 was actually 2 inches by 4 inches. These days, when you're building new construction, it's 1.5 by 3.5. It doesn't have the strength anymore that it used to.
Hmm.
And in this last right after Christmas, we had our huge snowstorm that within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks, it was from December into January. So it wasn't the month of December, but a lot of it came in the month of December. But within 3 weeks, we had 7 feet, almost 8 feet of snow.
Oh my God.
Very fast time. And there were so many homes that had either had the weight of the snow and the height of the snow had consequences. And people were spending $2,000 to get for kids to climb up and shovel off the snow off their roofs.
Mm.
But these 100-year-old homes, there was no shoveling needed because they were built with the full dimensional timber that held them up.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking that we've been working on this for a long time, and some of the old ways are actually some of the old ways that we can recognize will be part of the new ways. It's not all. I guess the old Earth had has some good information for us if we skip the intermediary time, and that can be confusing, I guess. But there's a way of going back to really old ways that will also be helpful in the new creativity.
There you go. Okay, so you're talking about yoga and mantras and so on. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, the yoga is just to keep our bodies active. Yes. The mantras are a vibration.
Oh, okay.
And the physical world is something that has been with us and has been lost for many. And it's not cutting corners all the time, which is what we currently do. And the other thing I haven't ever heard of this ascension. What was it called? things that happen in the ascension, the fatigue, the anxiety, that kind of thing. I don't know anything about those
Symptoms.
symptoms. Yeah. So anxiety is a part of my current world, and fatigue is certainly part of my current world. So um, and responsibility. So balancing the responsibility with the fatigue and the what is it, the technology for anxiety, because it really, I have to be on the computer, the cell phone a lot, which creates anxiety. But I'm giving that to the next generation who already know how to deal with it. So that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay. So now, Salt City.
It says in the chat,
Now wait a minute. No, we don't
Uh-uh.
have video for our pictures.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
you got it, Set City.
Thank you.
No, you see it now. Say no.
Set City, she wants you to turn off your video.
I have
And
turned it off. It's
okay,
off. Can you block it? Because everything
I can turn off the video, but I can't ever turn anything on, just to
No.
clarify. So would you like me to turn off your video? I can't see it right now.
If you can just double check that it's off, because I've turned it off multiple times and it
Okie
hasn't gone
doke.
on. Thank you,
All
sweetheart.
right, give us your share. I'd love to
Okay.
hear.
Phew! Thank you for all the uplifting and enlightening shares so far today. So here's what I got. Got the very, very, very strong image of I'm riding in the engineering seat on a train. It's been on a long journey. And Sol was just sharing, okay, this metaphor of the train's really important because you've had two tracks in your life, my life, and they both were very carefully prepared for you for this time. So number one, we led you to the place where you're supposed to be. Everything you need is here. So, because I've had a lot of upheaval and kind of pragmatic realities around housing and work and health issues and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys know, I had to have a very complete neurological assessment because I was having really terrible memory issues and I had a couple of head injuries and I have some mental health diagnoses. But anyway, they did this exhausting study and it turned out everything's okay with my brain organically, except I have I don't have Alzheimer's, which I had been diagnosed with, and I don't have head injury, which I was also like three really bad neurological diagnoses. So I had all this testing done at a special place, if you ever need it, Life Stance in Newton. And what they said is your brain is very healthy, but you have really deep dissociation, and that's all about trauma. So I had a boyfriend who once told me your life was you're hard to deal with, Sut City, because your life has been so deeply imbued with trauma, right? From very early in the game. So I have dissociation, and that means if I get triggered, I'm standing there looking at you, thinking I'm listening, but I have no memory of it. And that's
Really?
yes, and I've had that. So my diagnoses were major depression and severe with psychotic features because I had a lot of hallucinations, which I think from our perspective, were spiritual messages, but that got me into trouble. And then I had dissociation, which those two equals PTSD. So it's been a kind of a gift, because it's really forced me. Yogi Bhajan told me to do an hour of Sat Kriya in the morning and an hour of Sat Kriya in the evening, which I did for at least a decade. I'm slacking off now. I'm ready to get back in. It was a pretty exhausting commitment, or maybe longer than that. So Sat Kriya worked like really, really deeply to help me to stay present and not get triggered so easily, which helped in employment, and it helped in, holding down jobs and finishing academic commitments and sticking, even in challenging circumstances, the death of my spouse, blah, blah, blah. So what am I trying to say here? So I still have the challenge of dissociation, but that's all about awareness. And we do the yoga of awareness. So I have every tool I need, and I've gone back to doing Sat Kriya in the morning and Sudarshan at night. Back on that commitment. Plus, is the major part of my sadhana. So what was I trying to say here? Okay, the metaphor I got was, Satsiti, you're on a train going to the destination, and there's really no way to get off this track, because the one side of the track, and I'm hoping this will come back to me, I can't remember right now, but okay, I'll start with the locomotive. Sadhana, and we've given you directions. You're driving this train based on the words that you know from soul and your practice. That's the energy for that engine to move. And the first track is, you've been trained, you've been a teacher for decades, 40 years. We need you to step up into this, bring this teaching stuff to your community, which really surprises me, because now I'm in Framingham and I'm somehow became part of the city government, just as a participant, which was a big surprise. So I'm proposing, and that's the part of this track, is I'm a film historian. I really know film. And film is so educational, because we're in a crisis of democracy. What I love about Massachusetts is the cradle of democracy, and it's lived here in really deep ways in New England. It didn't happen, I was living in Kentucky. And look what's happening. And I lived for 10 years in Minneapolis, and it's a great democracy, and it's being demolished. It's being really challenged. But we have the gifts of intuition through our practice, and that's something really important we can bring, because we have a lot of information that's not available publicly, like in newspapers or radio, about where to be, what's going to be safe, what's coming next. So that kind of, from Catholic perspective, Christian perspective, I grew up in, that's like, we have the gift, a prophetic gift, because of our access to what's unspoken and what's unseen through the intuition. And we've had some conversation about that capacity, and I really want to keep insisting on that name for the phenomena, which is, we have the gift of intuition. We just have to open and relax and use it. This is going to be very important going forward. And I was talking to Satyakar this morning, and she just said in Maine, ICE has no chance. They're already there. ICE is in Maine, trying to pick off vulnerable people. And apparently the young people have set up such sophisticated and intricate intercommunications online that the person's always gone when ICE arrives. So I just wanted to share these really hopeful stories, because I think, as scary as it is, I'm finding it to be a joyous time of incredible hope, because all the darkness is being confronted. And I'm living that here. So what I came up with recently, yesterday, because I was asked to do something to help people understand democracy better, Well, I'm putting together a film festival each week where citizens will be invited to come and watch. We have incredible history in America, cinematic history of very deep, inspiring stories confronting from all over the globe, many different national cinemas that really confront the scariest moments, Hitler, Mussolini, on and on and on. So I'm hoping that will fall into place. That's on one side of my railroad track that by the grace of Guru, God and Guru, that I'll be able to pull it off, get help, and that it's a productive thing for our community here in Framingham, because people here are really committed and very patriotic and cherish their democracy, but it's certainly being challenged. Governor Healy has really tried to keep ICE out, but they are here, and they're quietly hunting down people. And here's such a wonderful gift out of the blue. I don't know how I even connect. Oh, one of my former coworkers in the fine gardening has a housemate who's Mexican and has been here, and he's alone and single, and he's desperately frightened beyond his wits that he's going to be picked up. He won't leave the house. So I said, okay, we got to figure this out somehow. So it turns out here in this great democracy, there's an organization, a building in Lowell with all services. It's called NAM, and it's new applicants, or it's about new Americans association in Metro West. And if I can get an appointment, which I've been trying to get for 2 weeks for this guy, we'll just drive him out to Lowell and get him all straightened out. But he's like going insane with fear of being picked up and imprisoned, which has actually happened in Minneapolis. It's just, and apparently, according to Sati, it's trying to happen in Maine, but the citizens are so, especially the young people, have set up all these networks so that everybody knows where ICE is at any point in Maine. I'm really proud of the people from Maine. So next thing is the other track. So the one track is, oh, I'm sorry, my brain still isn't back totally on track. So one track is training and service. That's really important. And then I can't remember, it'll come back to me, the other side of the track. But the engine is really my spiritual practice, our spiritual practice. And I've had to, make amends with folks at the ashram because I was not allowed to be there for a while there. And the person who's really helped me with that is Jot Singh, who went before the ashram community and said, she did nothing wrong. Here's what really went down. I have notes on it. I have photos, blah, blah, blah. And I'm working for him at Solstice, and I've tried to go to Solstice every summer and every winter. And this winter I'm going to be afloat. This summer I'm going to be afloat because I've been to Solstice so many times. I've served in every capacity, in the kitchen, on the grounds, and the porta potties, on, you name it. Hospitality, veggie chopping, you go on and on and on. So the lucky thing turns out to be I get to go to Solstice and float. Just float around to wherever help is needed to go. So one side of the track is this deep spiritual practice and spiritual community. And it'll come, and the other track is training. And so the locomotive of the train, the energy, the power comes from the spiritual practice and commitments. And then one side is the gifts of education and employment have really helped me know how to teach stuff in efficient and effective ways that people can learn really easily. Learn hard things, not be afraid of teaching or learning hard things. And the other side is my gardening, fine gardening, which was just a gift because there was no employment when I got out of college. So I hopped on the train on Long Island, went out to the end, got out and said, I need to find a job here. And the place was a duck farm that was also a restaurant. And I got into fine gardening in the Hamptons, which has been what I've done pretty much every summer. And if you want to have endless money, Charlotte Ford's estate and blah, 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 I got great training without having to go to school because such abundance of estates and work and teachers on jobs, to say, okay, here's how you do this, here's how you do that, blah, blah, blah. And lots of money to be able to see the greatest possibilities and then try to translate that into less expensive ways. I have been employed on a flower farm here. Since I got here, I had 3 different jobs. That's been a great second career. And what I got from Soul was, this is going to be really important. Environmental stuff is really, really important. So I got direction to go to the Native Plant Institute, which is here. And they have totally inexpensive, fantastic training courses and everything to do with organic gardening, everything. So, and they also, I'm going to be I'm going to be in trouble. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I need to be moved out of where I'm living on June 31st because Father George is going into, he's got Alzheimer's and he's going into his orders assisted living. So housing is really tough here. It's really expensive, but the Native Plant Place has a huge house, huge former mansion where you can rent a room, especially if you're a good customer or in their courses and being trained. So there's so many ways to be covered. I got a lot of people around me who are like all freaked out. You're going to be homeless. I don't think that's a Guru's plan for me. I think I'm going to be covered. I keep doing the Yogi Bhajan, and this is my last words. Used to always say, if you do 2 things, do your daily sadhana and go to solstices, you'll always be covered. And that's been my life experience. I can speak to that. I've lived that. So thank you for having this group, because in the winter, there's just this weekly support is so powerful and supportive and life-changing. So I really appreciate everybody who makes the effort to be here. And I'm just really glad to be here myself. I hope I'm making sense because I still have this memory issue, but it's getting better and I'm trying to learn. I was told the formula for getting over dissociation, and I just have to really practice it a lot more. So I hope it makes sense. God bless you all. Love you all. Satnam.
Thank you, dear. Thank you very much.
Satnam.
Satnam. Okay. Now, Japa Saraswati. What's happening?
Satnam. My message is all in Sanskrit, you guys.
Wow.
Because the first part that came to me was Gurdakshana, which I'm going to define these words because but Gurdakshana is the guru. It's the guru part is the gift to the guru, or the dakshana is the gift to the guru. It's a gift like almost like a tithing, and it's like given in honorarium to the teacher. But then what I felt was that it was giving to the self, to the guru within. And I had this extreme lifting. So through the message, both from Siddhi Gyan and from the video, what kept on the stones that kept rolling around were the stones. They were samskara and klesha. So samskara, these just to it's got two major definitions, but samskaras, it means dispositions or character traits, or like recurring aspects of our character, like ways that we like to be, I guess. but it also, another meaning for samskara is that it's a purification ritual. And what I really understood from that, just in that instant, was that these samskara, which they frequently have a little bit of a not quite negative, but like they're the things that we carry of our everyday self, sort of. And then I felt it, that they were the purification of us, that they were at once, the thing that was the mud in the water, and they were also the thing that clears the mud from the water, if that makes sense. And then I want to go to klesha, because I felt them both at the same time, but just so klesha are the causes of suffering. Another word for suffering in Sanskrit is dukkha. So there are 5 kleshas, and there's avidya, which is ignorance or misconception. And that is when that causes suffering. That's like you didn't know that the poisoned well was poisoned, so you drank the water and you've caused suffering by eating the poison, etc. Like that you get yourself into it by ignorance or misconception. Then there's asmita, which is related to the ego. It's like over association with our ego identity or our ego self, or also like like that striving. Then there's raga, which is desire or attachment. And there's dvesha, which is aversion or hatred. So that's like a meanness. And then there's the one that's really hard to pronounce, so I got to get it. It's abini vesa, which is the fear of death. And so I was in the consciousness non-reality. I kept on feeling my samskaras and my kleshas bubbling up to the surface. And there's like one particular stone that was just really tumbling around, like of my kleshas, of my and my character disposition to hold on to that particular stone, that particular hot stone burning me, that I'm holding on to it. And what I felt was with Baba Siddhi Chand. So what I did was I did just frequency of forgiveness to myself, which was just literally imagining it neutralizing. And when I wanted to stray from that, when I wanted to go to a place that was a little bit more comfortable, I really leaned into Baba Siddhi Chand and that visualization of him evaporating these kleshas or samskaras, like evaporating water, like water transmuting from liquid to gas. And I felt that transformation or that evaporation and that transmutation from dukkha, which is suffering, to sukha, which is sweetness or succor. And I just, that was my message. That was my full Sanskrit message for everybody to. But it was, I want to say that it was the giving to self, that it was that giving that gurdakshana, that gift to the guru within. Like I feel especially that we're not just we, but I mean we as like spiritual people are very giving, and that there's a lot of people that we would give stuff to because we're generous people, because we're kind, because we care, and we want to alleviate, a bit of suffering in the world. But I guess the message that I felt from Baba at that first instance, when I was like, oh, this feels weird, was about giving to the guru within, giving the tithe, or doing that gift of generosity for the self, about really taking that initiative to I felt it in a very, very compassionate way to be that kind of generosity, be doing that kind of generosity to the self. That was the beginning of it, because because we would give to everybody else. We would give to everybody else, and even especially the guru, you know, but like, what about giving that to the guru within? And I think that was it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Beautiful.
wonderful. Okay, so what we're hearing from each of you, isn't this incredible? And this is how we're having from Baba Siddhi-chan and ETs and so on, our wonderful teachers coming through all of us. Isn't that lovely?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to ask you, did everybody, there are two things that I wanted to know. If you have already done those two chapters from Dolores Cannon. Was everybody there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There's hours on YouTube. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. There's
Wow.
more.
There's so many. Oh wow. Yeah, there's a couple of really cool ones too. Casey and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I listened a couple hours yesterday. Yeah, because you can just put it on. That's what I'll use the TV for.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sounds
Because I
good.
don't do social media, but that seems to be like a library of just, I mean, they have yoga videos from India that are from the 1940s, late 40s. I'm like, where are you going to get that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why Guru?
And there's another thing. Has anybody read to Dolores Cannon for those two books to understand about ETs?
ETs.
Does anybody, do you understand that yet?
No.
I've been
Okay.
listening to it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
It's
important because, you know, I would like you all to know that before I launch you into the beginnings of humans. Okay?
Mm,
Mhm.
So
Okay.
Japa Saraswati's video was there. It was really cool. So yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you should know about that.
Mhm.
Okay. And now I wanted to ask you about next week is going to be a video for the Hopi, what do you call it? The Hopi
Mm,
Indian.
prophecy. Hopi
Okay.
prophecy. Okay.
Oh, okay.
mm,
Okay. And that is also about the fifth dimension, but
Okay.
they call it the fifth world. But you're seeing about the difficult side of the bifurcation. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And uh, those pictures are going to be scary about what's happening. Okay.
mhm,
So I'm going to ask you to start now this week about feeling heart breath, you know, our, what do you call it? Our red ruby crystal, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
mm,
But use that for what is going to be happening. You know, that's what's happening for the news, and it's
mm,
doing worse and worse.
Yes.
But
Sure.
use that heart breath and also CNR when you do that.
Mm.
Okay.
So,
Can I share one thing?
yeah,
I went to a presentation offered by an author for a portal to Egypt, and it was based on heart breath.
there you go.
And yes, the the floral, the rose and that red, the ruby red. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much for that.
Yes,
How it comes back to us through others with what we're doing.
exactly. And many, many people are already understanding about heart breath during this transformation time and more. Okay. So
Thank you so much.
it's coming for so many, for consciousness. This is what is happening. Okay. Even the physicists and the
Mm,
ETs, if you
mm,
remember. Yeah. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Good.
Waheguru, Waheguru.
Okay. So please use heart breath and or CNR during all of the difficulty. Okay. So you understand and do it for transforming. Okay.
Okay.
Good. And I really would like to have you all to listen those 2 books. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful speaking through the guru. Thank you for sharing. All of you.
Okay. Love you all. Okay. So now, South City,
Sure.
will you lead our song?
Sure. May the long time sun shine upon you. All
All love
surround you, and
and
let
the
your light
light
within
within you guide your way on. Guide your way on.
God.
Guide your way on. A nice deep inhale. And
So
No.
Waheguru.
Waheguru.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, and try to be by the date. Try not to be late. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Waheguru.
Okay.
Waheguru.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Love you so much.
Love you so much. What?
Satnam, everyone.